Okay, welcome to the video. I want to talk a little bit today about hip flexibility because most athletes, specifically baseball, we're doing all type of things that involve our hips, and when we overuse them, certain areas are going to get tight. So think about when you're running, you're using your hips. You know, you're flexing at the hip. When you're jumping, you're flexing at the hip to catch a ball. You're catching, you're bending down to feel the ground ball. All of these involve flexing at the hip, you know, at the knee and other places too. You're pitching, you're rotating when you're hitting. So if you factor that in with also all of the off-season workouts you're doing to get stronger, you're creating some tight muscles and some imbalances if you don't, regulate them and keep them kind of up to date. And think about the fact that when you guys are sitting down in class all day, your hips are constantly flexed. So, while one is tense, the other one is lengthened. So you got to think about the muscle imbalances that are being caused just from doing nothing sometimes. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this lacrosse ball, a rad ball. They essentially do the same thing, and this foam roller here. So you can use these three things to help loosen up your hips by literally rolling on this nice and slow, getting deep into your muscle. It should hurt a little bit. And the same thing here, you want to roll on this nice and slow. The same thing here. So what you want to do is lay on these. You want to find the front area, so like by your hip flexors, these muscles here or these muscles right here, right? Using your glute area, your front hip area. You want to lay on this area on the ball and find a spot that hurts, okay? When that spot hurts and it's a little more sensitive than everywhere else, you want to just stay there and hold it for a good 30 seconds. When you dig deep into those tender spots and hold it for 30 seconds and actually take the time to let it relax, that's when you gain benefits. So a lot of people, for example, you might see at the gym, they get on this foam roller and they go like this, and they're rolling really fast. They're not paying attention to the sensitive spots, and they stop right here after 5 seconds, and they do the other side, and they do the same thing, a couple seconds. If you don't actually spend time in the knot areas, you're not going to actually allow those muscles to relax and to relieve those adhesions that are in between your muscles. So that's one thing you need to do. The second thing is, when you static stretch, which you should try to do after a physical activity, you need to actually also hold those stretches for at least 30 seconds. That is something people always say when you're growing up, and something that nobody does. Even me, I never did it. But here's the thing. You have two things in your body that help you sense muscle tension and muscle lengthening, right? So Golgi tendon organs, they sense when your muscles are lengthening, so relaxing. And then your muscle spindles, they sense when your muscles are tightening, contracting. So when you do a static stretch, you need to hold that position long enough so that the receptors that sense length overcome the receptors that sense tension. That's when your muscles actually relax. Now, if you don't hold it for a minimum of 20 to 30 seconds, you're not going to see that happen in your body. It might feel like a good stretch, but you may not have actually gained the benefit from it. So if your hips are tight and you want them to be loose, you need to consistently stretch, consistently do what's called SMR with these three things. That's self-myofascial release. And if you do that consistently and spend the quality time, 20 to 30 seconds or more, in those knotted areas, you will see benefits and improvements to your hips. So let me know what you think. Comment if you have a question. And, if you want me to post tutorials on different stuff or more in-depth, strategies or how-tos, I can do that as well.